After over 500 days, we've finally gotten trailer 2 for Grand Theft Auto 6. So let's update our list of vehicles that are new and returning from GTA 5. We're going to start with the trailer itself and then move into the screenshots that Rockstar posted on their website. Starting with this first scene, over on the left you can clearly see a dinghy. This is the same model that we're used to. At the very back of the map you can actually see the outline for a blimp, so we'll see the blimp returning, which is always a great thing for speedrunning. In the foreground we see 2 new boats. These are different boat models, but they are very similar, as well as 2 Sea-Doos, which appear to follow the same model from GTA 5 that we've seen previously. As we move to Jason's house, we can actually see his main vehicle, which is based on the Ford Ranchero. Many people are getting this mixed up with the Picador in GTA 5, which is actually based on the El Camino. Very similar, but slightly different. We also get our first glance at this classic car on the side, but we'll touch on that in a moment. Then we've gotten the clearest picture we've had of the Cara, which is going to be returning. You also get a better look at that classic car I mentioned, which is based on a 1959 Series 62 coupe. In the background of this shot, we can actually see a boat in the background as well as a barge, so nothing that's super identifiable because I'm not a boat expert, but they are both new. Here's another look at that Cara and that old Cadillac, as well as a Landstalker XL, which will be returning from GTA 5 in the background making a turn there. Then, as Jason's getting catcalled, we see a very clear view of a Penumbra, which is returning from GTA 5. As we move to the first highway scene, we'll move from left to right, and we can see this truck that appears to be an older version of the Cara, so potentially an older version of a Ford F-150. Then we see an updated version of the Bison, which is towing a newer version of the Sea-Doo. Then just ahead of that, the Coquette makes a strong return, as well as an unidentified SUV just ahead of that, which the closest things I've been able to compare it to are a possible Granger variant or a Cavalcade variant. The truck driving directly in front of Jason is based on a 1989 Chevrolet CK1500, which will be a new vehicle, and I'm very excited for it as I'm a big truck fan. And then just a second later, we see another SUV pull into the left side. Again, not entirely sure what it is. Could be a possible Landstalker XL, but I'm not 100% sure. As we exit the convenience store, we can see another look at Jason's Ranchero, as well as what could be a newer version of the Bobcat XL in the back, missing its tailgate. But again, it doesn't quite line up and might just be a new truck entirely. Then we see our first police car of the entire trailer, which is again just a returning police cruiser based on the Ford Taurus. Directly in front of that is what appears to be a 2000 Crown Vic. Could be a different version than the Stanier we currently have in GTA 5. And then just ahead of that is the Manana, which many people haven't fully identified, as seen closer in this image. Then we get another look at Jason's ute. Moving to the pier, we see another boat, but again, even from the other side, I still don't know my boats very well, so if you know boats, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Another iconic plane is returning that we already knew about from the first trailer, which is the Dodo seaplane. Definitely makes a lot of sense coming to Vice City, as it's a very water-based map. Then we see 2 slightly larger boats in the background, which I thought looked familiar, but aren't in GTA 5 as far as I'm aware. This truck that we only see for a brief second as it drives by has taillights that resemble a Ford, but I'm not entirely sure what it might be. The 2 bikes in the background of this shot are hard to identify, but the one on the left might be a new version of the Zombie Bobber, but the other bike perfectly matches the Zombie Chopper and should have a second seat on the back. Now, I tried really hard to identify this specific muscle car, and it might be a newer version of the Vigero, like the classic Vigero in the game, but it's probably something entirely new because I couldn't get the windows and mirror to line up with anything currently in GTA 5. This shot doesn't give us too many new vehicles that people will be excited for, but it does give us a look at the new version of the city bus, as well as the public transport tram or SkyTrain. In this shot here, we get a clear look at what appears to be a new Dodge pickup truck. Not entirely sure what it is. I should know, it's on the tip of my tongue, but right behind that we see a shell of a baller that is clearly burning up and has exploded, and then off on the right we see another look at the Manana, so just double confirming that that vehicle is returning. Looking into more police cars, this image is just beautiful to look at, bringing back the police Riot from GTA 5, as well as a police version of the Buffalo STX. And then on the right is what I'm guessing is a new vehicle based on the Ford Explorer, likely going to be called the Scout, but maybe that's just the name the communities tend to give it in the past. Now, I wasn't sure exactly what these vehicles are in the background of this shot, so we'll keep going. Similar to trailer 1, we get a brief look at the Dodge Dually, likely based on a Ram 3500. Then we get the shot that has many cars in it, including what I believe is a new version of the Shaft Rafter with some absolutely horrendous and ridiculous rims. Located directly behind that, I don't know my Lamborghinis, but I believe it's a Lamborghini Aventador, maybe a new version of the Infernus. You can also make out a Banshee. Great to see that returning. It's been in the franchise since GTA 3, so I would have been surprised if we didn't see more of it in this trailer. Just behind that, you can actually make out a Vector, which is returning from GTA 5. Some people are excited for that. Then there's an unidentified Porsche behind it, which might be based on a Porsche Cayman, but I'm not entirely sure. And then behind that might be a different version of the Firebird, but I'm not entirely sure that the grille matches, so take that with a grain of salt. In the other lane, you can also make out a civilian version of that Scout Ford Explorer. And then at the very back, at the end of the street, you can see a Windsor drop. This was our first look at the fan boat, which we saw in trailer 1 and we'll see many times throughout the promotional material for this game, as well as an up close with the Buzzard, which appears to have a side-mounted gun, so that will be an update from GTA 5. Potentially a new model or just an added weapon on the side. And then in this shot, you can make out one of those small yachts, which appear various times, and again, I don't know my boats, as well as a helicopter up in the sky, which is clearly the Super Valido. Not sure if it's the carbon version or the regular version. Then we see the updated version of the Sea Shark, so this will be absolutely awesome. Hopefully we get the option to customize it. This next shot also shows us another look at the Dodo seaplane, as well as a bike that many people have had a hard time identifying, but I took a close look at every single bike in GTA 5, and this is the Averis. Now this scene is something I'm very excited for. It's what appears to be a heist to steal maybe a Tempesta or an updated version of a Tempesta out of a Pounder, which has the exact same model. And on the side, you can actually see a vehicle drive right past them, which appears to be a Coquette D10, but again, it's a little blurry and I might be wrong. Here's another look at those vehicles as well as the Averis, so that bike will be part of this mission, as well as what might be another Penumbra off on the side. It's nice to confirm again that the Police Maverick will be returning with new liveries to match the new city and new police force, as well as this boat, which many people are saying is the Toro, but it does have a slightly different bow and engine bay area, so this might be an updated version of that boat or just a new boat entirely. Here we get an up close look at a bike which shoots out some amazing flames. This is the Sanchez, returning from many other GTA games. And then off on the left you can actually make out what appears to be an Aleutian, and just ahead of the bike an Astrid, so more SUVs returning from GTA 5, as well as an unidentified car ahead of them and what might be two new semi-trucks in the back. They have different exhausts, so unless they're customizable, they would be new trucks. Then in the final scene of the trailer, we get another look at the Tulip that Jason and Lucia will drive at some point throughout the game, as well as a Karen Intruder, also returning from GTA 5. As the clip pans out, you can see two more vehicles coming up, an unidentified car and what appears to be a new van that would be based on the 2010 Ford E-Series, so lots of vans that we have to worry about. And now we'll move from the trailer to the screenshots that Rockstar has posted over on the Newswire. These will be in no particular order, so just kind of skim through it if you're looking for something in particular. We get some more close-up shots of the Cara, including a bit of an interior and side view. This truck does appear to have a slightly updated model, but is, for all intents and purposes, the exact same. Again, we see Jason fishing on a boat. Not sure what the boat is, but it's cool that we might be able to go fishing in GTA 6. Here's a slight interior shot of the Ranchero that Jason drives. And then we get our first close-up look at a new bike coming to GTA 6, the Alvino, which is made by Princip. Now in case the last time we saw the Coquette D10, the image was too blurry to really confirm it, here's another look at the Coquette D10, which was also seen in trailer 1. During that scene in the trailer with all the vehicles as well as the new Lamborghini, I forgot to mention the Audi RS5 Sportback, but here we get a closer look at it, which makes it more clear what it might be. Again, this might be the wrong model. I don't know my Audis too well, but I believe it's an RS5 Sportback because it has 4 doors. We get another up-close look at an unidentified bike. I'm not sure what this is based on, but it does not exist in GTA 5. Now there are some cars in this artwork, but again, artwork tends to be a little misleading and nothing here looks too important or too new, so we'll keep moving on. Another quick look at the Dodo in this artwork. And then an up-close look at what appears to be the Dubsta 2, which is just the more customizable version of the Dubsta, though it might be getting a new model in this game. This Vapid that we see a close-up of doesn't appear to match anything that we currently have in the game. The closest I could find is the Firebolt ASP, which is not an off-roading truck and wouldn't make any sense, so expect some more trucks in the game. Now these zoomed out shots are extremely difficult to narrow down because the farther away the vehicles are, the harder they are to identify. But starting roughly over on the left, we can see what appears to be a Comet S2 Cabrio, followed closely behind with a Furia, so both of those will be returning from GTA 5. Behind that is what appears to be a baller, but again, might be wrong, it's a little blocked by foliage. Up the street we can see the back end of a Sabre Turbo returning from the base game of GTA 5, as well as what appears to be the rear end of a Carbon Azaire and the front end of another Banshee. On the overpass, the only vehicle I could really make out what it might be is potentially the Paragon S, though the side panels don't perfectly match, so it might be a newer model. Moving to the foreground of the image, we can see what appears to be a Segoy, followed closely by a Baller ST and another Coquette D10. There's also another clear view of the city bus, and just behind that is an e-bike, like an e-rental bike. Not sure how those are going to play a part in GTA 6, but appears that they do exist. Behind those, we can see an unidentified cop car, which might be another version of the Ford Explorer, as well as what appears to be an updated version of the Sultan. Then there's a new Ram police truck, so we might be getting a Bison Interceptor, as well as what appears to be a Ford Transit van. It looks a little shorter than the ones you'd normally see, so it is slightly different. Flying in over the Vice City sign is what appears to be an updated version of the Luxor or Shamal. So those planes both have the same model, and so does this, so not sure what they're going to call it in GTA 6, but it's going to be one of those. Then in the swamp scene, we get another look at that police Scout or Ford Explorer with another one in the background just underneath the Police Maverick helicopter with another new livery, as well as the updated Bison and Fanboat making another appearance in these screenshots. This image might be one of my favorites from the screenshots. It's just so wild and really just gives off those Florida vibes. Off on the left, we can see the Cruiser Cycle returning, as well as what's behind that appears to be a slightly different model of the Yosemite 1500 with less of a lift kit. Then we get another look at what appears to be a Ford Transit van again, might be different, as well as another Class A truck, which might be another version of the Walton, but doesn't match anything currently in the game other than kind of being similar to the Walton. Then we have an Impaler SZ parked in front of the surf shop, and a tour bus off on the right, which might be a slightly updated model as well. And then, one of my favorite vehicles from the trailer, the mobility scooter, which I hope we will be able to own and drive, because that would be absolutely hilarious. Scooter Bros on mobility scooters. Just go around the whole map. That's one of the first things I'll be doing if it's possible. This gorgeous image of the Florida Keys shows off another Dodo seaplane, as well as a Phantom, but not the Phantom Custom, just an updated version of the Phantom. A Speedo van, might be a Rumpo, pretty sure it's a Speedo, as well as the Canis Mesa, making another return, likely with an updated model because it does look slightly better than the one we currently have in game. The rest of the vehicles on this bridge are kind of hard to identify, but if you know what any of them are, again, let me know. Oh my god, there's so many boats. I need to take a boat identification course to make this video. Here we get another look at two Sanchez's as well as two Manchez's right beside them, both returning, as well as an updated version of the Blazer. So this isn't perfectly matching the current Blazer we have in the game, and kind of resembles the Street Blazer but off-roadified. So maybe a combination of those two models. Now, although it isn't a police helicopter, this is the Police Maverick with a news livery, just like the ambulance helicopter in GTA 5, which is a Police Maverick with an ambulance livery. But we can tell this isn't a regular Maverick because the Police Maverick is a different model than the regular Maverick, and this isn't that model. This nighttime image is again hard to identify much, but I can tell you there is a Boxville returning in GTA 6, so if you thought that slow sail missions were over, think again. Heading over to Ambrosia, we can see an updated version of that Bison, and just beside that, an Impaler LX, which will be returning. And we'll see another one of those in an upcoming screenshot, and I have more to say about it. Many of these bikes have different customization options on them, so it's kind of hard to identify what they are, but lots of them look fairly similar, potentially an updated version of the Bagger, and potentially another look at that bike we saw earlier that I couldn't identify. Now, I can't really make out too much in this screenshot, but it's just beautiful. Just look at this. Now you can drive your Boxville through the mountains. We get a quick look at a kayak, which will be new for Grand Theft Auto's franchise, and another train. So the real question I have now is, can we stop the train in GTA 6? Here's another couple close-up looks at the Fanboat, which we'll be seeing in GTA 6 version of the Everglades. And then in this shot, again, it's hard to identify much, but we can make out another Bison up in the foreground. And then in the background, some Ballers, a Sand King, potentially an updated version of the Journey, another Dubsta, and a couple other familiar faces in the back. Now this is a vehicle I'm very excited for. This new Canis Jeep appears to be based on the Jeep Scrambler, which is just a sick little off-roading truck that Jeep made, and I'm excited to drive it. In this shot, we get another look at a van in the background, and then as we move closer to the strip club, we can see a Chevy Silverado sidestep, which I think we saw a clearer view of one of these in trailer 1 without the lift kit, which feels promising for the addition of lift kits in GTA 6. Driving through the parking lot, we can see the Phoenix making a return. Off on the left, we can see another Manana, and then right in the foreground, an unidentified Karen, which is likely based on a Toyota. Closest thing I could find with those taillights is a newer version of the Camry, though the taillights on that are kind of flipped upside down. So in these postcard shots that many people are overlooking, we can see some more Rams, a VSTR returning from GTA 5, some Ballers and other SUVs, as well as a new semi-truck. And then way off in the left, I saw it straight away, the Contender is making a return. Now I just hope that they call it the Karen Contender and not the Vapid Contender, because that there is a Toyota Tundra. And then the rest of these postcards have fan boats, a Dodo seaplane, and a lot of cars that are way too blurry and far away to figure out what they are. With the exception of this blue car up front, which looks extremely familiar, but my brain just can't figure out what it is. And then even more boats in the Vice City postcard. Here's another look at the Crown Vic that we'll be getting in the game. Likely just an updated version of the Stanier, but this one has more of a police feel to it rather than an undercover cop car. In this screenshot here, which I almost forgot to even mention, we see what appears to be either a Deity or Paragon R. Again, they're very similar on the front end, and with it being at night, I can't tell if this is a 2-door or a 4-door car, and I can't make out the difference. In the very back, we can see a Dodge Grand Caravan Taxi, which is a great addition, but I'm not sure what they're going to call it. The Lifeguard Blazer makes a return on the beach, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. And then we get another look at what appears to be a Phoenix or Sabre on the side, a Buffalo STX cop car, and the Dodge Grand Caravan Taxi. In this extremely zoomed out shot, we can see another Lamborghini, plenty of other identifiable cars that we've already mentioned, and a lot of vehicles that, again, too far away. I don't know what they are. And then in our last screenshot, we can make out an Outlaw, some more Sanchez's, another Blazer, what appears to be an Impaler LX donk. So instead of just the faction donk, we'll see more vehicles like that, which I'm very excited for because I like the look of them. And then in the background, we can make out a Vigero ZX convertible, and right off on the right side, another classic Buffalo. So if there's any vehicles that I completely missed or just misidentified, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you're as excited for GTA 6 as I am.